Hello, my name is Stas. I have been living in Poland for 9 years and I am engaged in business. Today we will talk about sole proprietorship and discuss a very important question. Is it worth considering opening a sole proprietorship if you already have a spoke as OO in Poland? Many of you already have a spoke as OO in Poland, and in fact before the war in Ukraine, very few who could open it. Even I couldn't open a sole proprietorship for myself. But now such an opportunity has appeared. Many are wondering whether it's worth doing if I have a spoke as OO, plus the Polish VAT was recently introduced, updates in the laws, and everything there is so confusing and unclear. Therefore, in this video I will answer the question of whether it's worth doing if you specifically have one. SPO GOAT, what additional options? Right next to it, if you open a sole proprietorship, this is what it gives you. Before we begin, if you plan to enter the Polish market, open a company here, or a sole proprietorship, you need help. In tax optimization, in consultations, all the links are below the video. We would be happy to work with you. So let's go through the points. Everything I will talk about will revolve around either saving money, which ultimately allows you to earn more, or around paying less in taxes, which also ultimately saves money and allows for you personally to put more money in your pocket. And the first point is the opportunity to pay less in taxes if, as an individual entrepreneur, you are on a reach out. What is reach out, how it works? There will be a hint above here now. Go there and watch. But the essence is that the structure of paying from turnover suits many of you. And the trick is that you have a company that can continue to operate. It is a taxpayer, for example, of VAT. And do you write off expenses there? Next to it, you open another individual entrepreneur account, which will pay from turnover and transfer part of the money there. Therefore, this is the first option when it is generally useful. Secondly, the opportunity to use the limit of 200,000 zlotys per year in turnover within your individual entrepreneur account in Poland. This limit of 200,000, well, on the contrary, yes, these are the funds you simply received, and after that, you must become a taxpayer. By opening an individual entrepreneur account, you open a window of opportunity up to 200,000 per year. You may not be a taxpayer. That is, purely technically, you can conduct 198,000 zlotys each year separately through this individual entrepreneur account and sell your product, for example, 23% cheaper than your competitors, but only up to these 200,000. Also a great competitive advantage, suitable for both goods and services. Third, if you are planning to record income up to 120,000 zlotys per year, then you can also consider an individual entrepreneur account. And in this case, it is generally better to close or freeze the company. 120,000 zlotys per year is the scale tax, the first form of taxation within an individual entrepreneur account in Poland. And this is 10,000 zlotys per month net profit. That is, in total, if you have a business where there are revenues, where there are expenses, there is something to write off as expenses, yes, and you will be recording up to 10,000 zlotys net per month, correct? Then you should definitely consider an individual entrepreneur account, because you will pay less for accounting and less in taxes. Fourth, simpler, management and reporting. I think this is clear, we won't discuss it. And fifth, if you had a second nominal partner, then now you don't need them. Who is a nominal partner? Often they are called a nominal. This is a person who is listed in your company as the second board member, a member of the management, and at the same time it's some relative or acquaintance like your brother, cousin, just Vasya Petya, who in fact does nothing in the company. You included them to avoid paying ZUS, right? That's fine. But if this is a reasonable person, and at the end of the year, you can find them so that they can sign the annual reports in the company, and they don't cause you any problems or stress. But there are cases when such situations exist, where a person disappears somewhere, they cause some stress, right? And that's why it's also worth considering opening a sole proprietorship just to manage the business activities yourself calmly, if you are truly in the business yourself. Two more very important points. Firstly, Malcolm, a sole proprietorship, I remind you once again, is very easy to open, very easy to close, and very easy to freeze. Activity. Unlike a limited liability company where any opening, freezing or closing is a whole process, a whole saga. And the most important main message is that within a sole proprietorship, you do not have double taxation. This means that the money you earned and recorded as net profit, you can immediately withdraw for yourself as a sole proprietor. But in a limited liability company, you need to first record the company's net profit, which is taxed at 9%. Then you either distribute dividends to yourself or make payments to board members. In other words, there is simply double taxation. That's basically it. Let me remind you who can currently open a sole proprietorship. It's everyone who could open it before. Resident card, Pol's card, stay card for the future, citizenship. Okay? Students. So there's a list, but these are the main ones. But also added are all those who came from Ukraine after February 24th, Ukrainians after the start of the war. This includes the visa Polon business harbor for Belarusians. This includes all Ukrainians who were here even before the start of the war. Conditionally, by residence card or visa, they have a valid residence card or visa, and they can also open IP, including, for example, I fit into this category because I didn't have a U-resident card yet. But I already had a residence card, so I opened one for myself too, of course. On that note, give a like, think about it. Consider this whole setup, whether it's beneficial for you to add a sole proprietorship. In most cases, it is beneficial. In the consultations we conduct, both paid and free, in most cases it is beneficial because many earn more than 10,000 zlotys, and it's just a great opportunity to pay less in taxes, which means putting more money in your pocket. And if you need help with registering such a sole proprietorship, please contact us. We will be happy to assist you and do everything at the highest level. Like, subscribe to the channel, and goodbye.